Right, this is this is a sort of really fast tutorial just on how to quickly get a render out from Zbrush of your character, but keep it very professional looking. And yeah, I'm just going to give you an example. Like if you try to type in, go on Google and type in character, type in Zbrush character whip, and we'll just go on to images. You can just see some, like different renders here of people's work. It's a very common thing to do to post your work, but I think when you're preparing it for like a portfolio, it takes such little effort and time to get a nicer render than this, just to show people what it looks like. And yeah, I'm just going to show you what I do now and then. Just people who just press they just hit the print screen button and put like a nice little layout or whatnot. It's just a bit lazy in my opinion. I think because we're very visual people, what we do is we're making, designing characters and stuff. They're using our imagination. I think the way you present your work is extremely important, because it just tells people a lot about you as an artist. So yeah, I just thought I'd show you a quick sort of guide to how I do my little test renders. So this is a character I'm working on at the minute. It's a bit laggy. It's on 14 million polygons at the minute. So yeah, I'm just going to show you how I would do sort of a sort of work in progress kind of screenshot. For starters, I would press, I'd do a new document, and I'd come to document here, and I'd go to the size, and I usually do something like 2500, and it should be in the ratio of your monitor. So just type in 2500 width, and height will sort itself out. It doesn't really matter, to be honest. Just make sure you have enough sort of resolution to get the detail and stuff. And if you actually want to zoom out of a ZBrush document, you have to use this little widget thing here. This is zoom, and you can actually zoom the canvas in and out, and you can see the little box scrolling. So yeah, now I'm going to draw this out. He's going to be drawing out on this pretty big document. So yeah, and I'm just going to position him kind of where I want it to show, which is kind of like at the front, kind of sort of something like that. Make sure I get that top spike in. Yeah, that looks cool. So now I have the position of the character. Most people just press print screen. Maybe they do best render. What I do is it's a few sort of little it's sort of a combination of a few renders. I actually use the best render. I just think the effects are nice. It gets a bit of shadowing in there, and just sort of cleans up some of the sort of pixelated lines and stuff. So I do a best render. So let that finish. Then I hit document, go to export, and I'm just going to create a new folder called new test whip render, and just save that out as the default file name. Don't move the camera whatsoever right now on the model. Keep it as it is, and then just come over to here to the Bpr settings here. I'm just going to lower the sort of ratio, I think, what's it called, subpixel anti-aliasing down, and come to my render properties, make sure I've got shadows on, and that's pretty much all I need. Because what we're doing with Bpr, I'm going to use the best render here as the actual sort of image, and then use a couple of renders we get from Bpr to sort of composite like a nicer looking sort of image. So just let that through. Just change that to 1 to speed up the rendering, and just hit that Bpr button to do this, and it's going to go through and give this nasty looking render. But we don't want this because we've been changing these settings or actually set up any lights. It's just going to do this nasty default kind of thing. So what we want from this are a couple of passes. We want the depth, so just click on that depth here, and it's going to go to the latest folder you save something out from. So save it along with this file here, save, and we want to get one more thing, which is the shadow information. So get that shadow as well, and that is all you need. I'm going to save this model just to make sure I actually have all my I've been working on it recently, so save that and close out ZBrush, and then come to Photoshop file. Need Photoshop for this. Yeah, so Photoshop. Go to open up your free images that you just rendered. Mine are here. Just open them up like that and copy them into one file, like so. And with the depth mask, which is this one here, we want to go to the actual image we've got here. Go to channels and hit the little new channel button here down the bottom, and then just paste that in there like this. We're going to use this later, and just hit RBG again to see the actual color information. And then go back to your render. Now, a nice little trick is to create a layer from the background if you're using this best render thing, because it'll be locked by default. And then you can press W for this little magic wand thing here, and just select out the background here. Make sure you get any sort of islands like inside this armpit area here, inside the legs, and just delete that. And then you'll be left with a transparent background, and that is pretty cool. Press Ctrl N for a new layer. And then you want to create kind of like a monotonous grayish background, usually within the 30 region here. It's nice. Just fill that out like so. It's just that when you're editing the levels on this actual image, it keeps the background the same color, so it looks kind of nice. And what we're going to do now is I'm going to drop the shadow on the shadow layer. Change that to multiply, and I usually put the opacity about 50%. Just to sort of make it a bit more of a subtle effect. And it just looks, without the shadow, you know what I mean? It just gives, it's a lot easier on your eyes, and your eyes just, they're used to seeing, things with shadows. So your eyes like shadows, basically. So it just really completes the render. And I'm going to edit these a little bit. I'm going to go to render. I'm going to go to, not render, I'm going to go to sharpen more. Just really brings out the detail. I think it's a more sort of accurate sort of representation of what it is, so I always do sharpen more. And I found that using the actual size that I'm working with now, it works really well. Sometimes when you sharpen sort of lower resolution sort of images, it just turns to a big mess. So yeah, and when I'm going to press Ctrl L to go into my levels, and then I'm just going to play around with the values here. I usually take the middle slider and slide it up a little bit, and then slide the whiteness up a little bit as well. So just I like to really contrasty sort of images like this. So yeah, that's looking pretty cool. And if you want to add a really sort of cool element to a render, if you want to add like you can do a noise pass. So just create a new layer and just fill it in. Then go to I think it's in render. Nope, it's in what's in noise, and add noise, and make sure it's monochromatic, so it's black and white. If you turn it off, it's gonna get all sort of red screens and stuff in there. Keep it black and white, and then with this pass, you want to just play around with the different settings here until you get something that looks good. Let me just turn it down to like 50%. So I think noise, you see a lot of noise in like pictures, when you use like high dynamic range settings. It's a fairly common sort of thing to get. And it just gives it much more realistic kind of feel once you get a nice setting. I might go with this, but really sort of take it down. Just play around with some more different things, see what I can do. That's quite nice. I'm going to stick with this. And now that we've got this and we're happy with the levels and the colours and stuff, we can merge them all together. Make sure you select all the layers. I usually just select the top layer, hold Shift and press the bottom one, then press Ctrl E, and it's going to collapse them all into one image. And the reason for this is that we can now use our alpha in the channels here. Let's go to filter, blur, and then we want to do a lens blur. We can find lens blur, And make sure you're using alpha 1 or whatever you name the alpha, which is the depth mask that we made. And then we're just going to click on an area of sort of interest that you want to focus on. And it just blurs out, basically. It uses the depth as a sort of a calculation to figure out how, basically how a camera lens works when you sort of focus on a specific part of an object. And it just, again, it's easy on the eyes and it looks professional. So play around with the radius here to sort of get a more harsher sort of blur out. I want to get the tip of that a little bit more, sort of. Yeah, that's cool. I'm just going to go with that. And then do a crop. Make sure your crops kind of, don't worry about getting everything in, depending on what sort of render you're going for. But I think I might just go for something like that. Get that hand in there. Like so. I think that's pretty cool. Might chop off this leg a bit more as well. Make it more about his upper body. Yeah, that's pretty cool. And then I'm just going to make sure I'm at 100%, which is that. And then I'm just going to resize. Shit, I pressed auto turn. I'm just going to resize image size. I'm just going to play around with percentage here. Try 80% to begin with. Make sure it's a decent size, but I think that's pretty good. Nothing too obnoxiously big, but yeah. I just think there's a much nicer way to present your work than just just pressing print screen. Make sure you put the effort in sort of every single aspect. Especially when they've got this standard grey ZBrush background. It's just lazy in my opinion. Compared to just putting a few minutes in. I mean, I was doing this really slowly to talk you through it. It takes like 5 minutes. Once you sort of the routine of doing it and stuff. Yeah, it's just a really nice way of presenting work. I use this quite a lot for my portfolio stuff because I think people like to see the development of your work, and when it looks nice, it's pretty satisfying. So yeah, so a quick tutorial on how to present your work. Make sure you present your work properly. Cheers.